So for example, if Israel sought, let's say 2-3 years ago, when they started to prepare for the current campaign against Iran, if they would have added the strategic objective of overthrowing the Ayatollah regime by supporting an opposition faction, training, equipping and organizing them so that they could fill in the vacuum at the moment the Ayatollah regime started to dwindle, their efforts would have been severely more efficient. Now what they started to do was, as they went along, they started to gouge which parties they could utilize, which parties they could sway to their cause, to act on their behalf. The problem is, as I've said before, these parties were one, not prepared, unorganized, unequipped, untrained, and not ready to deal with the might and power of the institutionalized forces of the regime. And that's, in my opinion, the main mistake that Israel made in this campaign. They could very well have toppled the Ayatollah regime. As a matter of fact, I was surprised by how quickly friction occurred within the ranks of Iran's political frameworks. And Israel was right to capitalize on that. However, they should have had some sort of foundation in place in order to fully enhance that opportunity and make the optimal use of it. And they didn't. And we have to understand that this is by no means a new strategy or a new technique. Wars have been won like this all throughout history. You support an opposition party within an enemy country, you train them, you equip them, you gather as much followers to their cause as you can, and then when the time is right, you help them severely degrade the defenses of that regime so that they can fill in the vacuum and overthrow them and take over the country. This has been textbook in many wars throughout history. As a matter of fact, this is the bread and butter of the United States Army Special Forces, the Green Berets. They used to go in hostile territory, win the hearts and minds of the locals, train and equip and organize their local militias so that they could fight and help them fight the fight. So this is by no means a new strategy. However, it is a strategy that Israel did not fully implement. And that's why I believe that they didn't have this strategic objective at the start of their campaign. There was a development that occurred, Iran's political frameworks and its unity began to dwindle, and Israel sought to make optimal use of it.